Hockey Nation fans, this is a wrap of the World Junior Hockey Championship for 2023, and the Team Canada pulls out a victory yesterday versus Czechia. This is this is a game for the ages. The Canadian team seemed to be firmly, in control of this up until like the last 6 minutes of the game, when they were up 2-0 all game. They were dominating the play. Terrific performances at that point by Shane Wright. Played real well, scored a real nice backhand goal as the second of the game, created his own opportunity. Dylan Guenther had got on the board early in a power play goal, and then it was real even right up until the last 6 minutes. Then suddenly Czechia woke up, and we know Czechia in the first game of the World Junior Championship beat Canada, shocked them 6-3 in game one of the round robin. Canada went on to pretty much dominate the rest of the tournament in their games, although, with some pretty sloppy play. And they had a real tough game in the semifinal against Slovakia, and that was surprise. That went to overtime as well, and they had to beat Slovakia 4-3 in overtime. So there, this was not without its adversity, a tournament that was not just a cakewalk. And with a tournament without the Russians was kind of surprising how good other teams like Switzerland had moments where they beat teams that you wouldn't have thought they would, winning their first game. They actually, I think they exited they were top two. Like, they had a very surprisingly good tournament. The Germans were actually maybe underachieved from what you would have thought, although we didn't really necessarily think that was a great team. And Slovakia for sure has taken strides. The U.S. had moments and ended up winning the bronze medal game yesterday against Sweden. Sweden, you thought they knocked off the Finns, which was surprising, and there was a 3-2 overtime game. So overall, lots of dramatic things, and yesterday was no different. So Team Canada gets on the board early with a goal from Dylan Guenther in the first period on the power play, making it 1-0 after the first. And then the second, Shane Wright coming down the right side into the offensive zone, cuts to the middle and goes backhand top shell with a beautiful individual effort. After that, it was Canada played a very physical game, really seemed to have the Czechs on their heels, and they were cycling deep and low late in the game. You thought they're just going to run the clock out here. Well, Czechia had a different thought on this. One note is that, there's 10 or 11 players on the Czech team that play in the Canadian Hockey League. So that's one thing that we noticed. So that they've reached, this is their first time reaching the final, I think, since 2002 or something. Like, it's been a long time, but they had a very good tournament. The goaltender, the Tri-Cities goaltender in the WHL, Sahashik, played great. He held Czechs in, even though he was down 2-0, and gave them an opportunity. And then here we go. It with like 6 minutes left. All of a sudden, 6:22. Here we go. Oh my goodness! Czech score and make it 2-1. So that was a little bit of a shock. And then they score again 58 seconds later. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? So suddenly it's 2-2, and the game going into overtime, it's a 3-on-3 overtime, which kind of like for a championship game, you would have thought they would have started 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, but no, they go right to 3-on-3. And then on basically a 2-on-1, Jonathan Waugh, the Montreal Canadiens prospect, makes a nice pass across to Dylan Guenther. And we know one thing about Dylan Guenther: he can really score, and he made no mistake. He chips the puck past the goaltender for his second goal of the game. Thomas Milic was kind of a revelation all tournament, I don't think, to me, because I had said before, I said, even though the first goalie in the first game from Sarnia, Gaudreau, kind of struggled, I'm telling you right now, we see Milic all the time. He took Seattle Thunderbirds to the championship last year, and he's been passed over in the draft, which is bizarre to me. He is an excellent goalie. He is a gamer. He's very confident. He's positionally very good. He controls rebounds, and you saw it all tournament. So hopefully someone signs or draft. I don't know if they have to draft him to sign him. I'm trying to think if he's gone through once or twice. He might still have to be drafted in the next upcoming NHL draft. He ain't making it through the next NHL draft. I know he's not a 6'7" goaltender, guys, but this is another example of a clutch goalie who's like very much, worst case, you got an AHL goalie. I think he probably ends up being, a backup to a starter. You just don't know with a guy with a character and capability like this. So anyways, a big win for Canada. Dennis Williams, the coach of the Everett Silvertips team that I worked with for a long time, gets his first gold as a head coach. He was part of the prior team that won gold as an assistant coach to Dave Cameron. Olin Zellweger getting his second gold. So congratulations to Olin. I thought he played a great game yesterday. That is our number one defenseman in Everett. So now they return to Everett, and I'm sure there'll be an adjustment period. All these players return to their normal CHL or European teams who've been playing without them for like, is it 3 weeks? I think it's been 3 weeks that we haven't had our head coach and our number one D man. And some of these teams, like Seattle, had 4 players on Team Canada. So Willie had joked that he took 4 players from Seattle to kind of help Everett in the standings. You think they were talking about that on TSN. Anyways, what a terrific World Junior. Great performances from teams like Switzerland and Slovakia that you wouldn't have expected it from. No Russia in the tournament, so we didn't get to see Mishkov. I don't know if Mishkov is even playing right now. We got to see, though, the three guys that are ranked 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we have to talk about Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard sets a new record for points and lifetime goals for Team Canada. I mean, that's beating guy. Jordan Eberle previously had the record for goals for his career. We might not see Connor Bedard again. He is so talented. And he's a 17-year-old, so he's played as a 16 and a 17-year-old for Team Canada at the U20s. He's up there with guys like he surpassed Eric Lindros for Team Canada. He surpassed Jordan Eberle, who had a storied career as a clutch goal scorer for Team Canada. And so he finished the term with 24 points. I think the next leading scorer was like 12 or 13 from Team USA with Logan Cooley. I think the next leading scorer in Canada was like 11 points, which was Logan Stankoven, by the way, another phenomenal tournament for him. He had played great in the last tournament. This is a great prospect for the Dallas Stars. Super player. Like, this guy is just a machine. He's small, but it does not matter. He is such a talented, smart player, and he's consistent every shift. Lots of good news stories there for Canada. Brant Clark, I think, was the best defenseman of the tournament for Canada, and he was left off the roster last time when they won gold, and he made no mistake. He was excellent. So I think that was a good news story for the Los Angeles Kings, who have Brant Clark. Shane Wright had a solid tournament, point per game, not terrible, including that terrific goal. So I think that was a good news story for Shane Wright, who's, we know he fell in the draft rankings. I think it's obvious why he fell in the draft rankings if you watch this. A lot of people saying, Slavkovsky went first. I still don't understand that by Montreal. He's a big man. Yes, he can shoot. Yes, he had a good Olympics. The Olympics was third tier. You saw him struggle at the World Juniors to get points. But the guy that played phenomenal for Slovakia was the second pick to New Jersey, and they got to be licking their chops, which is Simon Nemec. And Logan Cooley, the Arizona draft pick that went third, he played phenomenal. Both those guys are better than Wright. Is Slavkovsky better than Wright? I'm not sure about that. They're probably similar, except Slavkovsky is a much bigger man. Cutter Gauthier played great for the USA. So that's a Philadelphia draft pick. He played terrific. And David Jiricek was a revelation to a lot of people. He's been playing in the AHL. He's got a first couple games for Columbus Blue Jackets, and he is phenomenal. This is a big Czech defenseman. The strength of the Czech team are those 3 defensemen: Spacek, Jiricek, and the other Svozil. So 2 of these guys are Columbus Blue Jackets picks. So they got 2 great Czech defensemen. So that's good news for Columbus. They need all the help they can get on defense. But I mean, great tournament for Czechia. So I think it's obvious, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Jiricek's better than Wright and Nemec's better than Wright. And I think you see why Logan Cooley went so high. And maybe Cutter Gauthier ends up being better. But Wright's going to be a good NHL player. So I think at 4th overall, he'll be fine for Seattle. But I think you see it's obvious. Those 2 defensemen are probably 1, 2 up there, and Logan Cooley's with them. Like, he has a high ceiling, and that's going to pan out. but a good tournament for Shane Wright. He's the captain of the team that wins gold. He was very good when he spoke. He didn't seem weird at all. He seemed very mature. I think he did a good job leading the team. His buddies from the Don Mills Flyers were on the team, Brant Clark and Brendan Othman. Both had terrific tournaments. Brendan Othman was crushing people, New York Rangers prospect. So overall, great tournament, obviously, for the gold medal winning Canada team. First time there's been a repeat, I think, in 20 years. So this is all good news. Exciting tournament overall. There was a lot of drama and teams that won games you didn't expect, so it wasn't like obvious what the outcome was going to be. Yes, we missed the Russians, and that's really unfortunate. I'm not even sure, like I said, if Mishkov is playing, but you also saw Adam Fantilli, you saw Leo Carlsson, and you saw Connor Bedard, who led the tournament in scoring. Leo Carlsson, I think, is the second best player in this draft. Like, he was so good for Sweden. He's a big 6'3" talented guy. You got to keep in mind that Leo Carlsson and Adam Fantilli are a year older than Connor Bedard. They're late birthdays. They're past September 15th cutoff. So those are 2004 birth year guys going with the 05s. So Michkov and Bedard are the only 05s in that top rank. So normally you would have 1 and 2, I think, Bedard and Michkov. We didn't get to see Michkov, but he is on that level. He is Pavel Bure-esque type goal scorer, maybe Kaprizov type player. So that's what you're getting with you get Mishkov, but the risk is he never comes to North America. He might be Kaprizov type where he doesn't come till he's 23. So you look at Leo Carlsson, you go, hey, if I want a number one centerman, Leo Carlsson's playing against men in the Swedish league. He played phenomenal for Sweden. Big guy, highly talented, high hockey IQ, brings it, scores clutch goals. Adam Fantilli kind of struggled in this tournament. He scored, an important goal, and that was great. But he really struggled, and he played well defensively. After a while, after a horrible first game against Czechia, he turned over the puck like 6 times, and 2 of those led to goals where he didn't. Oh no, he just made mistakes, but he did. He let his man walk in from the point once, and he turned over the puck another time. He shot on his own goal in the first game. So Adam Fantilli is very raw, but he's a big, talented player. I think he's probably 3rd at this point, and Mishkov will fall to 4th or 5th just because of, the Russia factor. He might not come till he's 22 or 23, or maybe never. You don't know now. So that's just the reality of it. So overall, great tournament for Canada, great tournament for Czechia. USA pulls out the bronze against Sweden in what was an insane game that also went to overtime, 8-7. These guys were exhausted by the end of this. This was kind of like the end of things. They didn't have much left defensively. It just became like a barn burner. There were 9 goals scored in the second period alone. It looked like it was going to be a normal game in the first, but then the wheels fell off for both. It just was like free for all. So great tournament. We look forward to next year's tournament. Amazing job in the Maritimes by the host team in Eastern Canada. Was it in Moncton? I think it was in Moncton, New Brunswick. No, wait. Was it Halifax? Why am I blanking where it was? Hold on a second. Where was it? That's pretty bad. I can't remember if it was Moncton or if it was Halifax. Let's see. Let's look. I'm blanking on it. That's so bad. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm having a moment. Geez, where was it? Why is the site not even telling me? This is for the IIHF 2023 World Junior Hockey. Let's see. Oh, it's Moncton. Yeah, geez. Had a brain cramp there for a second. Is every arena in Canada called Rogers now? They're all called Rogers Arena. Anyways, congratulations to all of Team Canada and all the fans out there. Congratulations, I think, to Czechia. They had a phenomenal tournament, medaling for the first time in, I think, 20 years. I think it was 2002, they said, was the last time they medaled. And then congratulations to the U.S., who pulled out a victory in a weird game, but I thought they kind of maybe got a little bit ripped off in the Canada game with some third goal that got called back. The fourth goal, you can't like let them pitchfork a goal in through a goalie, and bumping the goal in the other play by Jackson Blake in the Canada semifinal game. that wasn't going to work. I thought that was the worst potential matchup was USA versus Canada, but Canada played very well. Big physical game. Lots of good news stories in that. Most of all, I guess we'll look forward to seeing the NHL draft that comes out of this and being able to see so many draft eligible players and players that were just drafted in the tournaments. And that's why we love it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up and go live with Detroit Red Wings updates. So congratulations to Team Canada, and we look forward to seeing Willie and Olin back in